Hey everybody, welcome back to Bill Burn Become. Today, my guests are Derek and Sarah Weikart out of Jacksonville, Florida. They are the owners of Four Caliber Fitness, and after looking on your social media, you guys remind me of the typical all-American couple. I love your social media, your Instagram. It's basically
like tuning into the Outdoor Adventure Channel. You guys are shooting, you're running, you're lifting weights, you're riding snowmobiles all over the place. And, I go from frame to frame. It's very enjoyable. But I know you guys have like a very serious, legit business. One of the things I like that I read was if the SHIT hits the fan, be useful. I love that. So you guys developed this business and you're a married couple. I want to hear all about it. Can you walk us through basically how this started and what you guys do and what you offer, what your services are?
I'll start how it started and then you can pick it up. So I'm prior military. I was search and rescue for 6 years. And then I picked up CrossFit coaching full time right when I got out, and I had a lot of friends asking me questions like what gun to get, what are the legalities and whatnot. And I ended up sending them to places that I knew locally that were that would do gun training of some kind. And they would come back to me after the training, and they would like, "Hey, I am more confused now than when I went." So I was getting kind of frustrated that friends of mine were getting really bad training. It wasn't hands-on enough or whatever. So we got the idea to be that ourselves. So I went and got certified so I can certify people for their concealed carry. And then we kind of found this little space where the people who start from scratch are kind of left behind, because there's lots of avenues where people can get training that's like you wanted to go do night vision, like long range precision, concealed carry tactics, like trauma medicine. Like there's all that's already out there, but there's nothing that really caters to the person who knows literally nothing. So that's where it started. And then I wouldn't be able to do what I do because she runs the administrative side of everything.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I could totally relate to what you're saying because the past couple of years, I did grow up with firearms in my family, but they were my father's. I shot what he had. I never went about the business of actually becoming licensed or anything like that. And even that alone is like, especially in New Jersey, I don't know what, I think it's easier in Florida, but in New Jersey, it's a big pain to get, your licensing and everything. And then, it's like, well, what gun should I get? And one example is I wanted to get a 45, and I had everybody telling me, don't do that. Get a 22 because it's cheaper to shoot and you can save money. But, that's not what I wanted. So I ended up getting a 40 caliber, which was a little bit better. But, yeah, I totally get that. I was lost and confused for quite a long time.
Yeah, it's hard because there's a lot of misconceptions with like the medicine side and the firearm side. There's so much that it's just hearsay, and so a lot of what we do is just like putting those kind of misconceptions to rest. And like, okay, this is what we was told. This is why it was incorrect. This is how you fix that.
Right. Yeah. Cool. So now you guys do have. I'll take it right out of your website. It says you have trained body, capable mind, become an asset. I think that nails it perfectly because how many times has a person had something happen, they're a witness to something or whatever, but they don't know what to do. And they stand there and they feel useless. And after the event occurs, you hear a lot of people say, if I just knew this or I just knew that, like applying a tourniquet. If you just knew a little first aid, you could have made a difference. And I think there's a lot of turmoil that comes from that for people. So what you're offering is a great thing because you can help people get to that next space where they can become useful. They know that they can protect themselves. They know that they can protect their family. So I know you guys offer like concealed carry courses, and you also offer something called a pipeline class. What is a pipeline class?
So if I want to go back to the one thing you said with somebody being useful and like if they witness something, we literally had somebody message us today who's a client and a friend, and he was driving down 95, and I guess he saw like a car flip a quarter mile ahead of him, and it was 2 adults and 3 kids, and he ended up having to put on a tourniquet and pack a wound and drag the people out of the car because like the car caught on fire. It was really nice to hear that he knew what to do because of the classes and whatnot that he had attended from us. So that was like really rewarding.
Yeah. See, I mean, it might be a low frequency event, but when it happens and it's hard, and you got to be prepared, right?
Yep.
I love that.
Yeah, so it was really nice seeing somebody take it seriously, who like had taken the training and they didn't just stop there. Like they took the training, they went and bought all the gear we recommend to get and the reasons why, and then they implemented it and they potentially saved 5 people.
Wow, that's amazing.
So that was super cool. And so to answer your question, the pipeline is so it's a broken down system of the pieces of what make you an asset with a firearm and medical, and it's given to you in bite-sized pieces. So we'll do tactical combat casualty care in a class, and we'll focus on nothing but care under fire and managing massive bleeding in airways and how to like rotate through people. Yeah. And then the next class can be some basic vehicle defensive tactics. Like what do you do if somebody's like pounded on your windshield? Or home defense, like with a flashlight, without a flashlight, so low light, no light, barricades, shooting on the move, pistol qualification drills. So we break these things down that could take, if you could do this all like for a whole day at a gun range or in a classroom. But people just either don't have the money or the time to do that. So we've broken it down into an hour-and-a-half segment where you give them the principles of what it is, and then you just keep kind of layering that as they go.
Nice. That sounds really awesome. And, you're touching upon also the physical aspect, the reality of the situation. You could go to a range all you want, air conditioned or heated range, and shoot and plunk away. But can you, duck and cover? Can you move? Can you run? And then can you still aim? Can you still shoot properly? So you guys are really touching upon the cornerstone of almost everything, really, is how fit you are. And, the more fit you are, the more you can do. And we spoke yesterday, actually, on our pre-interview, and I was really impressed with hearing, Derek, that you came in 3rd at the tactical games. And I was thinking this might have been like your 10th time, but this was your first time, and you came in 3rd.
In the first time, yeah. And it's a fairly new sport, but it's like I'm not going anywhere. It was a lot of fun, and the community that the tactical games has created is what we've been trying to build and what we've been searching for a long time.
Yeah. And how many people were out there competing?
I want to say out of all the divisions, there were 45. This was their biggest event they've had. They've been around for less than a year, and the next one we're going to be doing is in Atlanta in June. And I'm betting that's going to be the next biggest one they've had. Yeah,
okay. And Sarah, are you going to be competing in the one in Atlanta, or is that further down the line you're going to be competing?
No, I will be Derek's personal photographer at the June event. Okay. And then my plan is to compete in the November event, which will be in Florida.
Oh, okay. Good. Yeah. That's definitely something that I'm looking into doing. So, I got to just think about the logistics of it, with firearms and everything. But hopefully one day I'll see you guys there, and we'll be able to, shake hands and actually compete against each other, see what happens.
Yeah, man, that'd be fun.
Yeah, definitely. And that's what it is. It's a lot of fun talking about fitness, talking about the how it carries over to real life stuff, and I mentioned on the phone yesterday, Sarah, that I like that little 30-second video on Instagram where Derek is knocked out cold in the car, And you're like, very good acting, by the way. You're like, oh no. It's very believable. Yeah, but you hustle over there and you do a little move. And I don't know, Derek, I don't know how heavy you are. I'm assuming around 200 pounds, maybe more.
I'm 185, yeah.
Okay. All right. But still, you're.
Dead weight sucks to move. You know that.
Yeah, right. But Sarah had no problem with yanking you out of the car and saving your life. And I loved that because I think more women need to see stuff like that they actually are physically capable of doing a lot more than, so kudos to you for throwing that one out there. So, as far as your business, I got a question for you. 4 Caliber Fitness, where'd that name come from?
So it's actually, we're actually like currently going through a total company restructure, like branding wise. And the name was by complete accident. Derek created it for his S Corp, and then somehow we ended up teaching CCW course, and then somehow it got put on shirts. And so we've just kind of been running with that name for the last couple of years, but we always knew that it wasn't going to be like the end all be all name. But the 4.
So the 4 is like the 4 pillars of what you need to be able to be good at to be an asset, and it's mindset, medical, fitness, and firearms. Or like there's a pyramid in like firearms. It's mindset, tactics, fitness, skill, and tools. Tools being the least important thing, but what everybody focuses on. And the 4 categories were what we train.
Nice. I like that. Yeah, and mindset is the number one.
Mindset is always number
Always.
one.
Yeah, right. Mindset, and from there you could pretty much leverage that against anything, right? As long as you have
pretty much. If you're lacking in mindset, it's a matter of time before you quit on something, and then the others don't matter anyways.
Yeah. So now does obviously training with your handguns, training with your rifles, all that stuff is going to help you with your mindset. What helps you more in the long run? Is it the physical training, the working out, doing your CrossFit, doing the tactical games, like putting yourself under this rigorous physical exercise, or is it the mindset of concentrating on your target and shooting, or do they kind of go hand in hand?
I think they go hand in hand. So it definitely helps to have a goal in mind. Like I think for a lot, like you've been a firefighter for 16 years. Like it's definitely a lifestyle where like you're up at 5 because you're motivated to get your workout in before you go to work. I would say half of it is lifestyle, and not everything's like sunshine and daisies all the time. It definitely takes discipline to like keep yourself doing that, even on days where like, nope, I'm sleeping in.
Yeah.
So like it's a combination of discipline and then having some kind of reward at the end. Like I've been doing CrossFit for 10 years now, and in 2014 I got about as good as I could get without juicing and like taking like HGH and stuff, and I wasn't willing to do that, and it kind of lost its fun for me after that point because I just couldn't compete with these guys that I knew were on it, and they were just blowing people out of the water. Like, well, I'm not willing to mess up my body to do that, so never mind. And now the nice thing with stuff like the tactical games, it's giving you a target to shoot for, where it's not just your physicality, because there's some people out there that are just born freaks, like 500-pound deadlift at 19 years old, and they just like, oh yeah, it was easy. And so it's not just that one modality anymore. It takes some discipline in your fitness and your nutrition and your firearms, and that conglomerate is what makes it a lot of fun. So having an end goal makes a big difference.
That's a very interesting way to look at it. And as far as going through the tactical games, obviously it's your first run, right? So you have in your mind you whatever you think is going to happen. Then when you get there, it's what really happens, and then coming out the other side of it, it's like, wow, that just happened. And I get the feeling that you guys sort of like crossed over into a new threshold together with your fitness and everything. You guys must have really gained some kind of a little bit of wisdom from your tactical games. What happened to you guys, and how did it come about?
So it's funny, when we were sending him to the tactical games, we were on our way to Texas, and I was like, this is really weird. Like, I don't know if you're going to do good, if you're going to suck. Like, and I had always known Derek since he was good at CrossFit. So he was always like the number one guy in the gym and always did great at CrossFit competitions. So for me, it was kind of cool because I was like, it would be kind of cool if you sucked, because then it's going to give you something to focus on for the next 5 years. You're not going to get bored. But also, I hope you win, third place, second place, first place, because that's also like great. That's great validation for the fact that like our dry fire training inside of a CrossFit gym does pay off in real life. So it was cool for me to not really know where he was going to be. And I know for you, it's like just like a new challenge.
Mm-hmm. It's fun because there's definitely some guys, for instance, the guy that took first place. I mean, he deserved first place. He crushed it, and then come to find out, he's like a full-time SWAT guy with 17,000 rounds through one pistol and been doing it for 15 years. He deserved to take first place.
Yeah.
So it's always something to strive for, because there's people that do that for a living, and it's just a hobby. For me, in a sense, besides the business,
right?
And it's just a lot of fun, and the people are really cool, and it is a brand new category that didn't previously exist. So now it's like, look at all these possibilities.
Yes, exactly. That's a great way to look at it. You're like you're standing amongst like green shoots. The like something new is happening, and it's you're at the head of that. Basically.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So wherever it goes, it's going to be a journey for you. But it's all these things like CrossFit and everything all wind up, turning into really awesome things. So I applaud you for getting in there and tackling it.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. So you guys also have some apparel and stuff that you sell. I saw you have some really cool looking hats and things like that.
So, yes, but because we're going through kind of a total restructure, we're kind of like postponing the clothing stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, we definitely will, once we have everything reorganized from like the foundation up, we'll definitely do clothing. I think we can see ourselves doing some cut and sew pieces in the future, just because the last couple of years, just buying sample pieces to try to figure out clothing that you're like willing to sell to your clients that you also like yourself is kind of a challenge.
Right.
And we really like expensive quality pieces of clothing. So we're like, maybe we'll just do cut and sew pieces in the future.
That's cool. And I get the sensation, Sarah, that, that's more your end of the deal here. You're the powerhouse behind that part of your business, right?
I would say that I'm the one whose brain doesn't shut off.
Okay.
And Derek has to deal with that. So yeah, I always have like some new idea or whatever, but I kind of just throw him. I mean, Derek has to be teaching the classes. Like if there's no Derek, I can't show up and be like, okay, all the people are here, but now there's nobody to teach them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do all the like the social media and like figuring out the branding and what kind of words to use and what kind of imagery and that whole process. So, but yeah. I love that process.
Yeah, I could see it. You guys are a great team. You love what you love what you're doing, and Derek loves what he's doing, and it's those two segments of the business that you're both working on. And I also was reading up on your website, and Sarah, you grew up in Colorado, by the way. Where in Colorado did you come from?
A little bit outside of Colorado Springs.
Okay. Yeah, I love Colorado. I've been out there a couple of times. I thought I was going to move out there, but the fire department hired me, so I stayed. But maybe one day I'll move out there. But I also see that you traveled to New York, and you learned about entrepreneurship and leadership. And the leadership, what did you exactly learn on that? What was it?
So when it comes to business, I know there's a way to go around it without learning leadership. and without like really learning to care about people. With the businesses that Derek and I like, they're all business to customer. So we're around people. So I always knew I was going to be around people, but I didn't necessarily grow up being taught like great foundational principles of honestly anything, like how to ask the right questions, or not being terrified of people who are older than you, who are quote unquote successful, but it's not always the case, or how to learn from people who have exactly what you want. So there's just all this like mess that we're not really taught in school.
Yes.
So I wanted to learn that process first before I ran a business that like I had to make all the decisions at the end of the day, or like I had to email, like every time you email someone or comment in a post, like you got to understand people, because your email, you're not there. It's like you have to learn words. You have to learn how to say, like, you know, be apologetic and say like, hey, there was probably a miscommunication on my end. What can I do better next time to make sure that doesn't happen? Like, you don't know that stuff if you don't learn it.
Yeah.
So it's all of that stuff. I learned way too much. That's going to take me the rest of my life to figure out.
Well, that's a good problem to have. But it appears to me, though, that like you just said, before you got into a business, you wanted to learn this stuff. So you already had it in your head. You were going to be owning a business. You were going to be doing something. And was it this type of business, or was it just like anything?
No.
Did you have other endeavors before that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I originally was part of a travel network marketing company, and we're still a part of it. Like, we travel with them. I just don't build the business. So that's where I learned all the leadership from and stuff. I never really knew if I had like a specific thing I needed to do. I kind of thought maybe I'd figure it out in my 20s, 30s. Like, no, I'm probably going to find my niche. And I think I've gotten to the point now where I don't know that I'll ever care about the specific niche. I think I care that I'm investing all my energy into something that's adding value to people in today's society. Like, what are the problems right now?
Yeah.
And can we solve them? And can we enjoy the process? So when it comes to like firearms or fitness or things like that, like I didn't know crap about firearms. I wanted to. So that's part of the reason why I pushed Derek to start it, because I selfishly wanted to create this business for me. Yeah. But yeah, niche wise, I love the process of building a business. I want to build like 7 businesses eventually.
Okay, yeah. So there's a creative process behind that, and that's what you're tapping into, right?
It just keeps you from getting bored.
Yeah.
Like, you're just never bored.
Yeah. And do you also find that when you're in your creative mode, which it sounds like it's like all the time, do you feel better as a person? Do you feel happier? Do you feel more connected?
Yeah. So I think we both get pretty bored pretty easily. So when we've got projects, I'll just call them projects. Like, every day, there's just always something, whether you're building an email drip campaign, or you're doing a photo shoot for whatever, or you're programming the next course, things like that. If I'm not bored and I'm doing something productive, I'm for sure happier. Like, I love that some days we come home, we're like, what do you want to do? We're like, let's just have a mimosa and edit photos. And it's like, to us, that's fun.
Yeah.
So I think when you get to that point, that's way better to us than going out clubbing. Like, so much better.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, when you go out clubbing, you wind up coming home very late, dehydrated, no money in your pocket, and you wake up the next day and you're like, what the hell did I do?
You're useless. Like, you're just useless the next day.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's really cool. And then, you're spending your time together working on these cool little projects, which takes me to my next question is, as in a relationship with each other, sometimes it can be difficult, right, to run a business and also, not at all. You guys are totally different.
Totally got it. Yeah. No big deal.
Yeah. But do you guys have like a ritual, or do you have some a signal or something that you guys like, hey, you know what? You got to go outside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did I say? I was explaining it to a friend a couple weeks ago, and I said, you have to learn, if you're disappointed in business, Derek, you're not necessarily disappointed in personal, Derek. So Derek and I have learned to very much disassociate. Like if we're bickering about a business project, has nothing to do with our personal life. So I think that we're pretty good about that stuff. So we don't like take things with us and like, well, you yelled at me earlier. It was like, yeah, you didn't. I need you to get stuff. Like, go do it. And then beyond that, what else?
I mean, just like figuring out how to like separate the two is probably the most important, which can be hard to do because like you're married to the person you're working with, and then you're making business decisions that affect you both financially. It's impossible not to get emotional.
Yeah.
But I think we're very self-aware on like when either like one of us is being like over the top, like hey, like we need to go like we need to like space it out for a second. We need to like stop what we're doing and then go do our own thing for a bit. And I think just being self-aware is probably the most important thing out of all that. Like I'm wrong, she's wrong. There's admitting that you make mistakes, and then like, all right, take a step back, correct it, come back when you're cool, like level-headed, and then like it can still progress. Because like what you said with like being fulfilled and putting projects together, like when you're feeling creative, there's a lot of time and frustration that goes in like, well, does this word work? And does this structure work for this? No, everything sucks. And like the next day you find it, you're like, oh, that's all I was missing.
Yeah.
And and that little piece is a lot of fun.
Yes. So basically what you're saying is you're working on a problem and then you just kind of detach from it, push it to the side, and then maybe you're working out. Maybe you're having your mimosa and doing your photo editing, and then all of a sudden, bing, the light bulb goes off, right? Yeah.
Yep. And it's definitely a push and a pull because like with her, like I'm super technical and analytical on certain things with what we teach, like the terminology and all that, the skill set and stuff. And then I'll explain something to her, and she's like, no, you can't say any of that because nobody knows what you're talking about. Like,
yes.
What do you want me to say then? Because I can't say anything else.
Right.
And so like she helps me like water things down, and so but it's hard because I want to say this because that is in the community that's what's accurate.
Right.
And so like little things like that, like terminology is probably the biggest one.
Yes. Yeah. That's definitely. I've encountered that myself when I try to explain fire department stuff to civilians, and I'm throwing out fire department jargon, and they're like, yeah, whatever, I don't know what you're talking about. It's like you want to be able to explain something. I think they say I read this somewhere, if you can explain it to a 6-year-old, you're like a master at it. So
spot on.
Right? That's how you do it. And especially nowadays on the internet with Instagram, everything's got to be bing, bang, boom, fast, and you got to get your message across simply as possible. So that's great. You guys complement each other in that way. And you're absolutely fearless, it appears to me, you guys have decided to do this together. That would sometimes couples would say, oh, I don't want this to, ruin our relationship. You guys are like, no way, but that's not going to happen to us. We're gonna crush. Sarah, I like the story behind you wanted to do a business, but you wanted to learn some stuff first, and just knowing that you wanted something, it's commendable because you're kind of like out there on the edge a little bit, both of you, and that's also a very invigorating feeling too. It must be when you wake up and you're like, this is the world is my oyster. I get to create. I get to do what I want. Seems like you guys are having a lot of fun doing it, right?
We definitely have fun doing it because we definitely get to go to some cool places on
weekdays.
Wednesday. Like, hey, you want to go to like Disney tomorrow or like drive to Charleston on Wednesday? Yeah, that sounds awesome. Let's do that.
That's great. Yeah.
So stuff like that's fun.
Yeah, the adventurous lifestyle.
Yeah, and we definitely love to do that. Like I know you said the snowmobile pictures of whatnot. We were in Montana.
Yeah.
And man, I cannot wait to go back to Montana. Super cool state.
Yeah, I was there many, it was a long time ago. It's just fresh out of high school. I spent 3 weeks there, And that was another place I was about to move to, but I ran out of money. I went home, and then I got a job or whatever. But everything works out for a reason. But Montana is a kick-ass state, and
so pretty.
Oh yeah, that's. And Colorado and everything. You guys have lived a pretty colorful life so far, and you're still young, so you got so much more you could do and everything. So that's really awesome. Are you guys? Do you have anything that you want to? Tell us, anything coming up that you want to share with your audience, or
I think the biggest thing is that we're just really I almost wanted to hesitate doing this podcast because we're going through a restructure, but it's actually perfect. We're really excited for where we are right now because we're just a lot of behind the scenes stuff is happening. We have a new company name that we can't release yet, and we are creating this entirely new product line that very much suits and what our clients have been asking for the last couple of years. And there's going to be this really fun level system, so you get to kind of level up to the next thing. We've got some cool stuff in the works for the tactical games. Derek was very authentic, and we came back, and there was multiple people who were like, I just bought my pistol and I'm going to the tactical games and I'm 50 years old and I don't care. So we have a lot of really cool stuff in the works that's definitely in line with where we wanted to head in the first place. And it's I don't know, when we first started our business, it was kind of shooting dry fire in a CrossFit gym is not cool. And it's not easy to market. Nobody cares unless you're a hot chick with a rifle at a gun range in a photo.
Yeah, right.
And so we knew that, but we're excited to head in this direction because now there's those badass elements that are into it. And that's very our personality. So we're yes, I can't wait to do a combination of all of it. So honestly, just keep a lookout for the stuff that's coming, and it'll kind of trickle in the next couple months, but we're really excited for that process.
All right. Yeah, that sounds really cool. And, the behind the scenes stuff, that is what people want to see. It's more endearing. Mm-hmm. They get to see what's, this is what we like now.
You're a real person.
Yes, exactly. That's what I definitely want to see that. That would be really cool. So keep doing what you're doing. And everybody can find you on Instagram at 4 Caliber Fitness. And I believe you, in your bio there's a link they could click on. It takes you to the link tree where you have an email sign up, which I just signed up this morning for your newsletter. And I encourage everybody else to jump on that because it looks like you guys are going to be throwing out a lot of good free content and everything.
That's the plan.
Is there anything else social media wise we need to hear about? Facebook or anything?
We're on Facebook, 4 Caliber Fitness. Instagram's definitely our favorite. We're on Instagram way more than Facebook. It's much more easy to engage with your people.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, cool. So that's it. I appreciate you guys calling in and making this a really fun podcast. And you guys have a standing invite anytime you got something new popping up, or as your business develops, hit me up and come back on and share it with us. Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Man.
Thank you for having us.
All right, I'll talk to you soon. Have a good day.
Cool.
Bye.
Bye-bye. All right. So that was Derek and Sarah Weikart from 4 Caliber Fitness. They, we just finished up. They are building up something big there, and, keep an eye on them, follow them, and, enjoy. I just want to finish off the podcast real quick. I want to thank A Shared Universe for the awesome studio. The video went well. The FaceTime went well. I was a little nervous at first, but it was flawless, perfect. And I want to thank my boys over at Critical Mass Gym, where I train at. You guys have been packing some muscle on me, and I'm enjoying it. I'm losing some fat and getting ready for the summer. So thank you very much. And everybody check out at Build Burn Become on Instagram. I'm posting up daily videos and stuff like that. I just posted up today a little something that I wanted to share. So, just check it out. And thank you for listening to the podcast. And you can write in at billburnbecome@gmail.com. At Gmail. Just write in if you have any questions, any fitness questions, nutrition questions, anything about being a tactical athlete, firefighter. Let's hear from EMS, military, nurses, anybody who hustles for a living using their bodies. Hit me up. Let's hear what you got to say. I'll read your stuff on air, and share with the world. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.